Folks, last week my wife, Bonnie Zane Smith, reminded me that the Winter Olympics was about to start. And that reminded me about a story I used to use in trainings around the country, a story about incredible determination, commitment, and bravery, which reminded me of so many of you that I've gotten to know over the past month or two or three or four. Folks, I spent several hours last week after that conversation with Bonnie pouring through a lot of old training records looking for this specific document, and thankfully I finally found it. But I also found many other training subjects which I can use in future trainings. But this letter was written by a lady named Margaret Kane, and I read this many, many times at training seminars around America over the years. It has such a profound effect on me that I just couldn't put it away. It still gives me chill bumps when I read through this. And so as I read through it, you might want to get a tissue. Be prepared to have a lump in your throat or chill bumps running up and down your arm. It is called "The Only Voice That Matters is the One Within Ourselves." Ms. Margaret Kane wrote this, and I read, quote, "In 1976, my husband and I had the wonderful experience of spending a week at the Olympic Games in Montreal. For 7 days, we watched the most superb athletes of the world. We saw horsemen and wrestlers and fencers and basketball players and gymnasts and divers and hammer throwers and marathon runners. It was a week of watching the human will and the human body beautifully synchronized, reaching for excellence. In those 7 days of seeing the gold, the silver, and the bronze hung around the necks of proud athletes and seeing the flags and hearing the anthems of the world played, the most moving and memorable performance we saw was not by a medal winner, but by an athlete who came in dead last. This athlete was from Papua New Guinea, a tiny, impoverished nation in the South Pacific, and to the Montreal Games, that island had sent only one athlete, a competitor in the 10,000-meter run. This event took place in the vast 70,000-seat stadium, which that day was filled to capacity. Now, 10,000 meters is 25 times around a quarter-mile track, and we cheered as the winner crossed the finish line, and we cheered the second and third. They were the gold and silver and bronze medal winners, and in glorious Canadian sunshine, we cheered them all as they completed a grueling event. And when we thought at the last runner had completed this course, we saw a slim boy with long brown legs still on the track and running in obvious pain. We thought maybe a muscle had cramped or he had twisted his knee, and all the other athletes had left the stadium, and we watched in disbelief as his coach signaled to him that he had 8 more laps to go. His face was twisted with effort and pain, and his chest heaved as he gasped for breath. His name was Tau Jon, that's spelled T-A-U, Tau Jon from Papua New Guinea, his nation's only hope in this Olympiad. He completed his 18th lap and his 19th, favoring his right leg heavily, his face showing the obvious pain he was enduring. And as he completed his 20th and 21st lap, the crowd, which had been so exuberant, became absolutely dead silent. And on his 22nd lap, only the sound of his running shoes laboring around the track could be heard. Clip-clop, clip-clop, clip-clop. Our hearts were in our throats as he limped around the 23rd time, and we all began to hope more than anything that this young man would make it to the end. He was not quitting. When he began his 25th and final lap, 70,000 voices began to roar. We were begging him to finish his impossible task. We needed badly that day for that boy to show us that adversity does not conquer the human heart, that winning means accomplishing the goals we set for ourselves. I'm sure I was not the only person that day that watched that young man and felt ashamed of the times I'd quit because of fatigue or inconvenience or a sense of futility or because something I wanted had been delayed. On his slim and exhausted shoulders, he carried our hope that courage can prevail, that the human will can say yes when all the circumstances say no. When he crossed that finish line that day, the noise in that stadium was deafening. We in the stands who were strangers hugged each other and cried without shame. He stood for a moment in front of the dark tunnel that leads out of the stadium, his arms raised in triumph. Then he turned and limped out of sight. And we knew that day we had been blessed. Our faith in the human heart had been renewed. We were proud to belong to the same family as that young man. You see, Papua New Guinea had not sent the world a winner that day. He had sent a hero. I don't remember who won the gold or silver or bronze, or nor what anthem was being played at the awarding of the medals. I don't remember whether another record was being broken, but no one who was there that day will ever forget that young man who just gave us a glimpse of the limitless potential of the human heart. Remember this: whatever goals you set for yourself, set them high. And don't listen to the voices, both inside and outside yourself, that are so quick to say, it's too hard, you can't win, why bother it? Why bother? Most of us don't win medals. Most of us never hear the voices of public acclaim. But applause dies. And prizes and ribbons and medals are put away in dresser drawers, tucked away somewhere way back in the recesses of our minds. But the one lasting prize that never tarnishes or fades is your self-respect. Tau Jon taught us a very valuable lesson that wonderful day, that the only voice that matters is the one within ourselves that can say, I have run the race, I have finished the course. End quote. By Margaret Kane. Ladies and gentlemen, as you tune into the Olympics over the next few days, remember this story of overcoming adversity and the show of determination this young man had. And think to yourself, delays? No problem. Oh, somebody couldn't wait and went someplace else? No problem. Your number one prospect won't call you back? No problem. If Tau Jon can do what he did that day, then I most certainly can handle whatever is thrown at me. Nothing I will come up against can be more than what he showed the world that day. And my old mentor used to say that there's never been a test that could measure the size of a heart in a man or a woman. Folks, I want you to know that from this day forward, I declare that I am Tau Jon strong, and I hope that you will take that same battle cry. Now, listen to this further confirmation about a winner and what they can handle. And this is from the great Les Brown. Quote, don't let a temporary situation cause you to make a permanent decision about your possibilities and your future. You keep pushing forward despite the odds or how you feel at the moment. You might give out, but don't give up. Dare to be great. You have greatness within you. End quote. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Looking forward to seeing you all in the winner's circle. Remember again, we are Tau Jon strong. God bless you all. Make it an awesome day.